We live.
What's up?
One
What's happening, y'all?
was
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
How y'all doing, man? Real talk. What's been
chilling
happening?
out.
It's been a month since we've been on camera easily. I think it's been
Easily a
about
month.
since that last episode.
I'm heavily medicated.
I'm
Oh,
sure I gained weight during Thanksgiving.
I think
Positive.
everybody gained weight during Thanksgiving.
Mm.
That's supposed to happen. That's compliments to the chef.
JBM says, "Speak for yourself. I'm the same size."
Yeah, I might have lost weight, and I have not been exercising. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just had my wisdom teeth removed, so I'm medicated and very mellow right now.
Are you able to eat? Or are you on liquids?
It's today's sponsor, Moats applesauce.
Moats. Yo, this man. Look, we took a month-long hiatus, and he's still getting sponsorships. None of us is getting.
Yeah, man.
Actually, I just want to let y'all know tonight, JBM is not the only one with a sponsor.
Oh, okay. I guess
Hey,
I'm the only one that ain't got a sponsor.
These, all right.
hey,
All right?
Spindrel.
If you're someone who isn't really a fan of seltzer, or someone who likes the bubbles, but is trying to cut back on sodas or whatever. I personally do not like seltzers because to me they taste fake. Most seltzers use artificial flavoring. That's mad whack. But these got real juice. Real juice. Real juice. If you
Spindrift. Where you get that?
Target or my local grocery store has it.
Huh.
It's
Okay.
called Spindrift. Real juice. If you look at like all the other seltzer cans or whatever, it'll tell you like contains 0% juice. It's right above the nutrition facts. Spindrift got real juice. And the box tells you how much juice. There is an entire pineapple in the box of Spindrift I bought today.
What? Like, oh, they use an entire
collectively.
in
Yes.
making. Okay, like, oh, it comes with a pineapple.
That's what's up.
Oh, that's different. That's a unique marketing thing they got going on. Selling soda with real fruit included.
I've got a can of pineapples actually.
What, JBM?
Random grade.
Yeah, I've got a can of pineapples in the pantry. It's part of my my current diet with this applesauce.
All right, I'm telling you right now. You get your seltzer, a plain seltzer, put a splash of pineapple juice in there. It's mad tasty. Matter of fact, if you don't want to spend the money, I'm dissing our sponsor right now. If you don't want to spend the money, just get your favorite seltzer or just any seltzer that's plain. Put a splash of pineapple juice in there. I promise you it'll change your life. It will change your life. I drink these every day.
All right. Spindrift.
The free sponsorship. It's 3 people watching. So y'all 3, if you get
Loaf.
money, let them know that
OG Cap, what up?
Ha, yeah.
All right.
Got the captain's log.
We got the Spindrift. Is it Spindrift?
Spindrift.
All
I
right.
highly recommend the pineapple. The grapefruit is also tasty as well as the lemon. I had the raspberry lime and I was not feeling it.
Okay, good to know.
Got Star Wars MCU OG.
What up?
Mr.
What's
Loaf, Ducky
going
Momo,
on?
Quentin, Lee. What's happening, everybody? Thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you are all caught up on Hawkeye. At least episode 5, because that's where we're going to dive into since we haven't done a dedicated show for this show. We're going to, we recap the 5 episodes and then, I guess, talk a little bit about episode 6 and also some other shows that we've been watching since we've been away for a month. Imani?
We got to recap episode 1?
I mean, I'm just saying we gonna recap. We gonna highlight things.
Yeah, collective,
All right.
Wait, you mentioned episode 6 that came out?
No, that's tomorrow.
we'll
That's
talk about
next week.
next week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
so
meant to
what,
say in anticipation of episode 6. So if I didn't say that, my fault. Apologies. I don't have the inside info on episode 6.
Y'all want me to start?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Feel like you got something on your chest.
I do. Up until today, this show was like a 6 for me. Up until today. Today made the show a lot better, and in my opinion, worth it. Because last week and before, I didn't think the show was worth it, and I was bored.
Yeah,
And
I can feel that.
it's now getting better. Although I feel like, I don't know, did it really take this long to get here?
5 really was the best episode out of all previous episodes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Who's the actress that plays the Black Widow?
Let's find out.
I just enjoy watching her character. She does a really good job. Like, she
You
sells.
talking about Yelena?
Yeah, Yelena.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man,
Florence, Who?
Pew.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Pew,
Yeah,
pew. Yeah. She's great.
she
I
carried
love-
the episode. Yeah.
She definitely did. That was the highlight of the episode for me. Minus if we're excluding the teaser at the end, because that was like the strawberry topping or whatever. It's not strawberry topping. You can put it strawberry as a topping.
What do you
I-
top with strawberries, Coop?
What? The strawberry is the topping. What do you?
What's beneath the topping?
You know, you got whipped cream, you got ice cream underneath. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put like, you can get strawberry ice cream with whipped cream, put a strawberry on top.
All right. If you're making like a little
Strawberry shortcake.
then you would put
yeah.
the strawberries on top of that, and the whipped cream would go on top of that. So technically, whipped cream could top the strawberries.
Now you put you can put the caramelized strawberries inside the cake, then the whipped cream,
Caramelized,
and then put some fresh strawberries on top.
not chocolate. Strawberries.
No, he's talking about a strawberry shortcake. There's no chocolate in a strawberry shortcake. But you know,
I'm medicated. I don't know.
the captain's log says, I don't do hot sauce on my mac and cheese. I don't either, but
That's
I do.
agreeable.
I put hot sauce in my greens, or I put like hot vinegar on my greens, and then I'll get like the perfect bite with the greens and the mac together.
Y'all know what's good on mac and cheese? It's truffle oil. That's different.
Who's truffle oil?
You just get some truffle oil and mac and cheese baked in there. Telling you, it's a delicacy.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
But yeah, anyway, back to Hawkeye. I mean, this episode was the best of the series. I know in the Discord I said that this is mildly entertaining, and the reason why I said it's mildly entertaining because my expectations for this show were super low. Like, so I feel like the first 3 episodes, given that I just found out like an hour ago that there are only 6 episodes in this series, I was thinking like 8 or 9. I feel like the first 3 episodes were kind of like a wash. Like, I mean, maybe not 3 episodes. The first 2 definitely kind of sort of, they could have, sped
Did
things
better.
up a bit. They just took too long with the introduction. Introduction episode should have been episode 1, and episode 2 they should have got like heavier into the action. It's similar to Hawkeye. Like not Hawkeye. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I felt like maybe those first couple episodes drug a little bit. We were talking a little bit off camera about the fact that this should have come out earlier, along with Black Widow, because Black Widow should have come out first. Minus all the COVID complications and things getting delayed and pushed back. We would have gotten Black Widow in the summer, and then this would have come out in the same year for the Christmas holiday season. And so I'm glad that they waited. I'm glad they still release it in that order, but it feels dated because it was supposed to come out a couple years ago. Like, it's in comparison to like Loki, and some of the other shows that are more in the phase 4 arena. This feels like it's in that in between state, still dealing with like the blip. I don't know. It's not a complaint. This show is like a 5 or a 6 for me thus far. This episode may have bumped it to a 6, and we'll see how the finale goes. But right now, it's average. Like it's not getting me up in the morning to go make sure I check an episode out before spoilers hit the internet. Like it's not hadn't been one of those type of shows. The Kingpin thing got spoiled for me, so and thus far there hadn't been any major reveals minus Yelena in the previous episode. That was a bigger surprise than Kingpin, because I knew Kingpin was coming, because that was spoiled. Thank you, internet.
At the end of the Black Widow movie, didn't they show Yelena that Hawkeye was the person that killed, responsible for her sister's death?
Yeah, that was the big tease.
Yeah, okay.
In credit scene.
So that's the connection to her popping up.
Yeah, yes. Which I think that would have helped the show pop, though. If, like, imagine, take away COVID, Black Widow goes to theaters, we see that post-credit scene, we'd have been way more hyped to see Hawkeye, because they probably would have played that up a lot more in the advertising and marketing of it, because I think a lot of people would have been interested in that thing, because we would not have seen, we would not be getting all this No Way Home hype and Doctor Strange 2 hype and the Loki stuff. We wouldn't have seen any of this. Like, and we would have just been Shang-Chi. We wouldn't have Shang-Chi. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we would not have seen yet. We wouldn't have seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or no, maybe we would have.
We would have seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
In WandaVision.
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be
Black Widow.
Black Widow was supposed to come out summer. Then we would have gotten Falcon in the Winter. So summer 2019, we would have gotten Black Widow fall, not Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier fall 2019. And then we would have gotten, not 2019, I'm mixing up my year. 2020. Black Widow, summer 2020, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, fall 2020, and then Hawkeye, winter 2020. I'm very sure that the New York City Christmas scenes in Hawkeye were filmed Christmas 2019 before COVID, because I ain't see any masks, and they just were on the street filming that. You would have at least seen a couple of masks.
Yeah. Does the Christmas vibe work for y'all in this show?
I mean,
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it, but I don't feel it either. I'm like, this doesn't. I don't feel the connection to it.
I can say that that's what Christmas in New York looks and feels like. So,
it's just there.
It's just there. Yes, there are still homeless people on the street. Yes, the city is still dirty, but look at the big shiny tree. That's right. That's Christmas in New York. But I will also say the tracksuit people, they're cold for the time that they're saying it is, and then if it was filmed 2019, or even regardless, you cannot just wear a tracksuit a couple of days before Christmas in New York City and think you can be comfortable. It's cold.
Mm-hmm.
The tracksuit mafia, something's up with them. I mean, besides the fact that they're evil.
I mean, they're supposed to be from Russia though, so they probably used to this. They built like that. I
didn't consider that.
This is nothing. Yeah.
I mean, if I were like Kevin Feige or someone involved in production, and someone asked me that question, that would have been my answer. Not to say that that's factual, but that's what I would have said. So Captain Slug said that a fourth of the show was about LARPing, and that, yes.
The LARPing threw me all the way off. I'm like, where are we going?
It's funny when you said that you were not feeling it. I'm like, this has to be the reason. It's got to be. Because I was like, I tuned all that stuff out. Like, I know I had it playing on like my laptop, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm just like doing something else on my computer while that's going on. I'm looking over like, okay, we still here.
All the crazy things I've seen, I've never actually seen the LARPing people, because I think that was Central Park where that took place. Never seen it.
Allegedly.
That was Central Park?
Central or Prospect, one of the parks.
Maybe Prospect. It didn't seem like Central Park. I could be wrong. I've only seen Central like 3-4 times.
It's a huge park. It's different in different ways.
Yeah.
But if they were in Manhattan, it would have to be Central Park. I was going to say, I had higher expectations for the show than Coop. When I talk about the Disney shows, I like to exclude WandaVision from my judgment because we were all crazy when that came out. We were so hyped to just have anything, and I include me. I include like myself in there. We were losing our minds. We were so happy to have anything Marvel, Disney that we did the most. So I don't think we gave that show a fair chance. So I
Oh man.
exclude WandaVision from my judgment of the Marvel shows because it's just not fair to WandaVision. It never had a chance against COVID people. COVID fans, we lost our minds. So comparing it to just what are the other shows we've had? What if Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki? Were there any other shows?
Nope, that was it.
That's it.
So I still
What
feel
if?
like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was hurt by them editing all of the pandemic stuff out. For those who don't know, which most of y'all should by now, there was a whole plot within the show about a global pandemic, and they took it out because of COVID. It also pushed the show back. They didn't necessarily change the storyline; they just removed every single thing about the virus and the vaccine, so no one would, I guess, feel some type of way about it. I personally think that hurt the show a lot. They should have just left it in there, in my opinion.
Yeah, because
So
it the flag breakers, is that right? Yeah, that
Flag
would have flag smashers. Their whole plot was watered down because they took out the global pandemic. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. As like the whole time they're trying to get medical supplies and vaccine, but there's no precedence for why they're trying to do this. And if you add in the plot about there being an entire global pandemic, and you got all these people who were in the blip that came back that aren't able to get access to this vaccine during this global pandemic, and the fact that there's a lot of poor people across the globe that don't have access to it, and that's their whole mission. Well, part of their mission is to get, basically steal the vaccine from the rich and give it to the poor. Like, that kind of is important to that whole story, and that would have helped the plot a whole lot more, in my opinion, if they would have just kept that in there. Like, to Monty's point, I get the sensitivity at the time. It feels a little too close to home, but story's a story. Like, that's an integral part of the story. You got to keep that in there. Like, you can't just take that out and then not properly rewrite something else, because you still left aspects of it intact, and there was no context for why that was there in the first place. And so their whole mission didn't even make sense in many regards.
and I think if you look back on Falcon and the Winter Soldier and you ignore the scenes where the storyline of the pandemic was, cut out, it's really strong. It's the point of the flag smashers that should have been important that fell off on the show. So I don't blame them for removing it, and I don't think bad writing is the reason for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think they filmed what they filmed, and they chose to cut out things and just gave us what they could. So that being said, if you give Falcon and the Winter Soldier a little bit of just give them, give them a little bit of a grading curve, and then you judge Loki and What If. I had no reason to doubt Disney on this show. I thought it was going to be really good. I also feel that this is the most money they've spent on advertising a show. So they made me feel like it was going to be good. Like, I'm watching boxing matches and it says Hawkeye across the ring. I've never seen that for a Disney show or a movie even. So I definitely had higher hopes, and I can say that I was quite disappointed up until today.
And also, think about the impact that today's episode, even though today's episode has been well received across the board, like, imagine the impact that it would have had we not had everything released on time, and we not seen Loki. We would not have known about the multiversal plot. We would not have known about, like, Kang. We would not have known about anything, like, and then we get this Kingpin teaser from the Daredevil show. Like, the internet would have exploded. Like, everyone was hyped, but the level of hype would have been way different had this come out in the proper order, as they intended.
We were also pretty hype about the Quicksilver in WandaVision. Despite the crazy, we were hyped too. So imagine, I guess that and this would have been the first examples of characters coming from outside the MCU, Marvel characters from outside the MCU into the MCU. We would have lost our minds.
Yep. Agreed. Speaking of No Way Home tomorrow. I'm excited.
You just want to get that out.
I just need to say that because I'm hyped. I'm like,
What time is your show?
3:30
PM?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you
Get
would
that
know.
matinee.
Oh yeah. Early matinee. Ain't nobody in there. I think school's still in.
Oh, people gonna be in there.
Oh, people gonna be in there, but it's not gonna be like Friday, Saturday in there. You know what I'm saying? Not at 3 p.m.
About that. I didn't even consider that you could go to a matinee that early on Thursday.
You can go at 11 a.m. on some theaters.
Yeah, well, next week you'll be able to go in because they're starting the showtimes. Like that was the earliest showtime that they had available. And I checked that like last week, so I'm thinking I don't know what time they started the show, but they're not even advertising it as a Friday release anymore. They're talking about Thursday, which is wild that how much it's changed because now the box office weekend is from Thursday to Sunday.
In another 10 years, it's gonna start on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Fisher.
Oh yeah.
12:30. That's gonna be lit.
I think I'm going Monday next week.
You got your tickets?
Mm-mm.
You need to get them because once the movie comes out, it's gonna be even worse. You need to get those tonight.
All right.
It's bad.
It's he'll be fine. we're not in this state.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It ain't gonna be that serious.
I saw some seats available for tomorrow's at like 2 hours ago, but I'm waiting to go with my brother, so I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah, like even before the pandemic, like I never had to reserve tickets for anything. Like I didn't even have to reserve tickets for The Force Awakens. Like so, and I went on a Thursday for that too. So like
we went together for that, right?
No, I went Thursday and then I went with you on that Friday.
The following day.
Yeah. I think I feel like I saw that movie Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when it came out that weekend. I think maybe exaggerating, but man, those are crazy times. Mm-hmm. Box office was buzzing.
Can we get back to Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Because you took us way left.
My bad.
I just want to say that Kate gets on my nerves.
Thank you, Amani. She gets on my nerves too.
Just like, yo.
I was like, I hope somebody feels me on this.
Sit down. Like,
please.
Listen. Like I was really upset. I was yelling at the TV like, "What are you doing, Ma? You're not a superhero. Sit down."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not working for me, Kate. It's not it.
And what's killing me is like we know we're going to see more of her. I need her to just be smarter, be better, be a little more. Just care about your life. You're not invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Hopefully she grows up. They make her character more mature because they're trying to dumb her down. Y'all peeped how they set that fake arrest scene up in the house, right?
I don't know, bro. She's 22
in episode 5.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go there yet, but if you want to go there, we can go there.
That was a bogus arrest.
Too. That looked wild, fake.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, is she 11? What is going on?
She's dumb. Her mother definitely feeling vibes. Last week, I was like, oh, she's somebody. Now, was I expecting the mom to be connected to Kingpin? Negative. I didn't know that was the link. But I figured out when she picked up the phone after Kate and old boy left the house, Hawkeye left the house. I was like, that was an evil phone grab. Like just the way she
from like, episode 1, I was like, oh, she evil. Like they had her in black, the subtext in her character, I was like, yeah, she a villain. She lost her husband in that first Avengers battle. She's got motive. She's a villain.
Yeah,
Daniel
agree.
said it. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, you feel us. You feel us.
Appreciate you, Daniel.
Have a seat, Kate.
Hey, first of all, like, my thing is like, yo, she's 22. Like, I can understand maybe a little bit if she was
Wait,
like
the character
13.
is 22?
She's 22. Yeah, yeah. Her character is 22 years old. They said this in the show.
Senior year in
Oh,
college.
that's outrageous. That's outrageous.
Makes it
I'm
worse.
like, I'm thinking, yo, you know what? Like, this would be one thing if she were like 13 or 14, like in high school or something.
I thought she was like 15 in the show.
Nah,
I gave
man,
her
she's supposed to
17.
be
I was
like,
being generous.
She's
she's
22.
22. Yeah,
She's grown.
22,
She's
dude.
supposed to be grown.
Yeah, she's an adult. Like, this is just, I don't think that's going nowhere no time soon.
How your mom evil and you just don't know?
Hey, man.
Look where she lives.
A miracle
She lives in a
whip.
penthouse.
It's that miracle whip.
She's been in like prep school her whole life. You know, like she's not around.
Helmets.
Yeah,
You know,
she's not around. She's never home.
she paid zero attention because in the first episode they were gonna have to sell the penthouse because they ain't have no money. All of a sudden, the father, who it seemed like they were making it out for him to be the breadwinner, or at least that it was more of his money, he dies and they still there, and she ain't asked no questions. Yo, mom, how we living like this?
Yeah.
We good? How?
The stepdad is following orders from the mother. I feel like the mother is, aside from following Kingpin, like she's a shot caller, I think.
Yeah, she's the real villain. I feel.
Yeah.
Like if she's not the real villain, like this is whack. Cause the way she moving like that, like she's got everything under control. Like the way she checked Hawkeye, that was that moment for me. I was like, oh wait, hold on, this is like, that was sinister. That underlying threat that she gave that man, and then the way she threw that unprovoked jab at him about Black Widow and her dying. I'm like, whoa, hold up now, like taking this a little too far, aren't we?
The villain.
Where did that come from?
Also, she's clearly evil, but she's also like a bad villain / mom, because how you like this person and you don't know your kid is a vigilante? How you had to find out by accident?
Right.
That.
But she knows.
I think she's
knows.
like, is she on some
She's
like
head of
tailoring?
security. But like no, but her company is security, like, and surveillance, and so like there's no way she doesn't know. Like she's basically private CIA.
Something like that. Yeah.
Like nah, she knows. She knows way more than she's leading on.
Yeah.
She knows way more than she's leading on. Like she knows everything about dude that she's dating. Like nothing that Kate is telling her or trying to hint at is a surprise to her. She knows everything about this dude.
Question is what she's doing orders from Kingpin, or is she trying to do something on her own? That's what I'm waiting to see. Is she acting on her own or at his request? Because they were trying to like steal or win the auction. No, they stole some stuff at the auction, right? Some like superhero equipment. What was stolen at the auction?
Wasn't it the watch? Who stole the watch?
It was in Maya's house.
But wasn't the watch at the auction?
I think so. Yeah, the watch was at the auction.
Yeah,
Whose
somebody
watch
bought
was
the watch. It was either Hawkeye's
I
or
think
his
it was-
wife's.
Oh, I thought it was Tony Stark's watch or something crazy.
Somebody that's been in Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Oh, did Kingpin buy Avengers Tower?
Okay, that's another thing. I was trying to figure out why they.
That would be dope if he, because you know he's in the tower.
I know. Does he own the tower? Because
that'd
if
be
he's in
dope.
the tower, bro, yo, boss moves.
That'd be
Kingpin
dope,
in
yeah.
Avengers Tower, like yeah.
Wait.
Okay,
I'm
Hawk
with that.
said watch, Ronin suit, Ronin sword is what they stole.
Yeah, but who owned the watch? Hawks.
Whose watch?
Whose
is
watch
it?
was that?
Google it.
Because one, I feel like it's Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye said it was his or his wife, and his wife is someone important too because she's like CIA or Shield or somebody. Like
Oh, is she? I
she
didn't know.
has to be. She got way too much inside information. Like
I thought she was
because
just,
they speak in
down for the
code.
cause.
Nah. It's one thing to be like supportive. Like she understands like she's been inside of the game.
She knew the assignment.
She knows the playbook. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying?
according to Den of Geek, the watch belonged to a Captain America, but not the Captain America that we know.
Isaiah Bradley.
Is this the same watch that Christopher Walken was talking about?
What?
Huh?
I took it to Pulp Fiction. I'm sorry, I had to. We just said watch one too many times, and my mind went to Pulp Fiction.
Watch.
What's the name of the drugs they got you on, bro? I would like to.
What's in the watch though?
Some information, Shield information. Oh, this is a theory. Okay, Den of Geek thinks it might be a Captain America, but that's not the one that we know. Others think it's either Clint or Laura's, but apparently his wife worked for Shield at some point.
That's what. Yes, I could
So-
It wasn't in. So the first couple phone calls that he was making to her was like just rudimentary, but then once he starts getting back into like the details and the severity of the mission that he's on, like they start speaking in code. Like she's a handler, and he's the agent, and like I was like, hold on, wait a second, like it's one thing to be like understanding, like if you're someone, an operative's wife or husband, and they're in the field and you're trying to be supportive, there's the conversation goes one way, but then when you start talking about mission details and like talking in certain like this code that is very reminiscent of someone who's actually been in the field before, is a whole other thing. Like so it's like if having a conversation about basketball with a basketball fan versus having a conversation about basketball with a former player, like conversation it changes a little bit.
All right, so we know Laura is more than who we think she is. The mom is evil. I think the watch has Shield information on it.
I could buy that. I could dig that. Did he post a meme? Hawks, did you post a meme in the Discord? Oh, somebody.
Meme channel? Let's see.
Checking it out. Memeing it up.
Oh shoot.
What's going on?
That's wild. Hey.
Oh, we got Adam. You ready?
We there, Hulk.
Yeah.
We there, Hulk. We there.
Y'all ready?
Special guest in the house.
Is he a guest or is he?
You gotta get.
family?
Oh.
It's the fam. Lou,
What's
what's
up?
happening?
Come on.
Yo,
What's good with you?
what's
What's
up?
going on? Fresh off the
Yeah.
plane. Still got the
Oh,
vest.
he can't hear us. Hold on. Damn. We just messed up the whole intro. We had him hyped up. Oh, he's not ready yet.
All right, we'll take it.
The tease.
We
Yeah,
teased it, man.
yeah.
We got that was cool. He'll be back. We'll be back.
Post something on the
That's
meme
great.
channel?
I wonder if he probably. I thought he's fine. We'll get details. We'll get details when he comes back. But yeah, that's
So the watch might have something in it.
The watch
It's gotta
definitely has something in it. I don't think it's
Cute.
something sentimental. I think there's information.
yeah,
That
because
makes
they
sense.
were really pressed about the watch. It was like the suit and the sword was like kind of a big deal, but then the watch thing was like, oh wait, hold on a second, like this is major. Like somebody got the nuclear
Put
codes.
like a microchip in there or something. Little mini USB.
Probably it might be a direct line to Nick Fury. Who knows?
Help me out because maybe I missed something. How did they find out about the watch? Like, when did it go from being about the suit to the watch?
Like it was like
I
episode
kind of
4,
skipped through a couple
3 or 4.
episodes.
Everybody
It was-
who's watching, did I miss something?
No,
Like-
no, no. Oh, wait. When it was last episode when they broke into the house, she found the watch, and then she also found the list of names of Clint Barton's family.
Right. But she went in there for the watch. So what, like, why, when did the watch become a player in this?
It was okay. So when Clint
Episode
went to
2?
recover, yeah, because when he went to recover the suit and the sword, he was also looking for the watch.
Clint was.
Yeah, Clint was. So once he got the suit and the sword back, he was cool. But then he realized the watch was still missing, and then he went into full like, all right, this is real serious mode. And that's when the conversation switched from, oh, this will be quick, everything's gonna be fine, to like, yo, this might be more serious than I thought. And then the wife started leaving the room to have that one-on-one conversation that was more coded with Clint about the details away from the kids. Like, because remember, like the first couple conversations, she was at the dinner table, or they were around, the kids were around. Then after the whole watch fiasco came into play, she would leave the room and they would have a more private conversation. So like whatever this watch is, it's like it's got to be a bigger deal than we're thinking it is.
Special guest said they ready.
Where? Let's bring it back home.
What's going
No!
Yo, what up?
What's happening?
Yo, I'm living life like Quentin Bart. Can't get home for Christmas. I spent the whole day at the airport with my flight slowly getting pushed back till they were like, yeah, bro, we just not doing it today.
Oh no, you back
Oh
home?
man.
No, I'm not.
Where you?
I'm still in Washington.
That's what I meant. My bad. In your apartment.
Yeah, I'm at my crib. I was supposed to be 20-something hundred miles away in New Jersey at this time, landing. But here I am, out here, making calls to my family, telling them tomorrow.
Dang.
So they give you a set time for tomorrow?
Gotta be out of here. We take off 5:30 a.m. So
Oh, red eye.
Dang.
yeah,
What airline is this?
United, messing up, bro.
Wow. United, do better. We're gonna tweet him after the show, harassing him.
For real.
Well,
Yeah,
real.
take them off the sponsor list. Straight up.
Lou,
Yeah.
are you caught up on Hawkeye?
I am caught up on Hawkeye.
All righty. We done talked about a lot, but we want to hear your opinion. How are you feeling about the series?
Yo, it's like when you talk about random comics that are not standalone graphic novels, so Hawkeye sort of counts as it. It's like one of the strongest adaptations. Like this is fitting the Matt Fraction and various artists, mostly David Aja, run into live action form, and like they're doing a pretty bang up job at it. So like I'm impressed from that standpoint. Things they brought in made sense.
Like
Echo
what?
is dope. Like they couldn't do it exactly the same 1-to-1 because Hawkeye doesn't have a family with like 3 kids and he didn't grow up in the circus trick shooting. Hawkeye losing his hearing is a thing that happened in like the early 2000s that people use whenever they want, but in like this Hawkeye run with Fraction, it became a major plot point. Like he signs with his brother, his hearing loss progresses. That was a big point. Bringing in Echo was really smart because it's like, oh, I see you was doing a thing with nonverbal and ASL. Like we have this character that nobody really touches. We're gonna bring them into the fold with the tracksuit mafia, and I was like, yo, this is a pretty smart adaptation. And just to like say the Hawkeye run, like if you've never read a comic book, that run roughly the time we were in college was like nobody gave a crap about Hawkeye. Like what? Like you think when the first Avengers movie, like, yo, we out here with Gods of Thunder and man who made futuristic suits, and this guy's got a bow and arrow, and that's what it's been like for decades. And he was not even a secret agent in the comics; he was just like a circus dude. And then like Fraction comes along, and by the end of the series, they're like, "Yo, I think for Hawkeye." I didn't know Hawkeye could be cool.
So I have a question. How do you feel them giving Clint Barton a family affects the overall vibe of Hawkeye? Do you think it softened him? Is he more badass in the comics?
Um, I think the Ronin time period was a little more badass, but also just because I see like the MCU time period of Ronin as Hawkeye essentially being a serial killer. So I'm also glad they tackled that head on because I definitely been saying it since the Avengers. Like, yo, it really should have been Clint because you spent the last 5 years going on a murder spree. Natasha been chilling. Like, why are you the one who's alive? So I'm glad they hit that head on. Um, but as for like more or less, I don't think it softens him per se. I think it humanizes him in a way. Um, I think they have approached it interestingly. Like now, his family has to be characters and not random side pieces like they've been in the past. So like, I'm still curious as to how much his wife be knowing because he be calling his wife and she's like, "Yo, I got intel," and I was like, "What is this? Y'all in Middle America in the woods? Like, how? What are you doing where you got all this information?"
We were just talking about that. I think she might be ex-Shield because how did she go from just being a wife to having connections and being able to locate stuff?
Right. I
Yeah.
was like, "Yo, you exposing whole shell companies from your living room while your family having Christmas movie night?"
She's
Yeah,
definitely something.
she's got to be some form of intelligence because she just operates in that way. Like I was just alluding, like it's one thing like when they having conversations about the fine details of the mission and she's speaking in code. It's like, you know, having a conversation as a basketball fan with another basketball fan about basketball, it goes one way, but then when you're talking player in player, like it's a whole different type of conversation, and that's how
Inside
it
baseball
felt.
stuff.
Yeah, like that's how it feels when they're communicating about like the finer details of this mission that Kingpin is involved in, which is that I'm cautiously excited about episode 6.
Yeah, I just wanted Clint to make it home for Christmas. Don't look like that's happening.
We need you to make it home for Christmas.
I know,
Well,
right? Yeah.
I think so, because technically, in real time, Christmas is on Saturday, and this last episode comes out on a Wednesday. So, I think it will wrap, and he will technically go home before Christmas.
In the show,
In the
what's the
show
timeline
and in
of
in
when
the
Christmas
webtoons.
Day comes? Like, how close are we to
Bro,
Christmas
they
Day?
have not given any dates or
The
times. They
day
have no
they
idea.
go, the day he goes, there is a day count. I don't remember what it is, but the day he sends his family back, there's a day count. I haven't been keeping track of that day count, but they said they gave you an initial and they tell you tomorrow, tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure you could count it.
Hmm. All right. I'm gonna just assume he makes it home for Christmas by the end of the show.
At this point, we can't assume nothing with these people. Actually, Lou, you brought up a point I'd like to hear your opinion of. I feel like Marvel is intentionally not giving us specific dates and time for when the movies take place, the movies and the shows. Like we kind of have an idea. Sometimes you might have a director say, "Oh, it's this time," and sometimes it's just crickets, and we have to figure it out. Do you think that they're doing this intentionally, or is this just sloppy?
I think they've got a timeline window, and so like I think even more important than what movies come out in a phase or shows come out in a phase is the timeline of the phase. I think the directors of individual movies get just enough, so they be trying not to hyper date, but date just enough. Like the first Black Panther movie came out after Ant-Man, but it takes place immediately after Civil War. You're like, we can't hyper date this. So we got a ballpark from the big dogs. We're gonna try to ballpark it as much as we can without breaking our time window.
Gotcha. I don't like that.
Yeah, it can get a little confusing
I
sometimes.
wish you were a little more organized. Tell me when the movie took place, please.
Yeah, but yeah, Hawkeye. This is 2023 December. It has to be right because Yolanda disappeared from the blip 2018, and then she came back. So that's 5 years.
Yeah.
I could have sworn when does
Yeah.
take place.
So far, Lou, what you rating this series? Scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, it's like definitely above a 7. Sort of seeing where stuff lands before I go. So like it's above a mid show. Like it's a good solid show. I feel weird about being hard on my number before like a strong stopping point.
Right. So okay, above a 7. I'm giving it a 6 right now. That's where I'm at. It's a 6. But it's interesting to hear the information about how they pulled this from a comic and how it's almost spot on in a sense. I like that.
Yeah, it's a cool. It stands roughly alone. So like they have the Matt Fraction Hawkeye omnibus. I think it's like 22 issues. So like you could just read that without really knowing anything else. Because I definitely went into it reading it blind because I like Matt Fraction as a writer, and I had no real trouble following.
Okay, I just want y'all to know that one of the directors and executive producers, either Rise or Reed Thomas, revealed on Twitter that the series is set during the 2024 holiday season. But he also
24.
says that he wanted it to be set in 2025, and his intentions were to mess up your minds about the timelines. So, although he said 2024, the fact that they have not said a date or time is intentional, and they want us confused.
So, what year is No Way Home taking place? 2023 or 4? Because
I
when does
think
Far From Home? Because from what I understand, it takes place basically at the beginning of No Way Home is where the end credit scene for Far From Home happens with the big reveal of Spider-Man's
okay.
identity.
So that was summer, right? No, where were they in the school year? Because it starts they're in the school year of 2023. Was that a spring competition? I assume they're in 24.
Yeah, because they went over.
It seems like spring here.
It seemed like spring, but the stuff on the TV, like when their little like news show, seemed very welcome back to school. But then they were also going on a trip to Europe, and you would not go on a trip just after getting back to school. After
Right.
I'm Googling.
Oh man, yo, and then something that is a little confusing is the blip return, because when people start coming back from the blip, that big battle is happening like in that moment too, simultaneously. That final battle between the armies of Thanos and the Avengers, like all that stuff is happening like simultaneously.
That's why they were in Wakanda.
No, they teleported
they
from Wakanda to wherever the new Avengers complex is, because I don't know where the Avengers complex is, because Tony sold a tower.
I think it's in Connecticut.
What I'm thinking is Kingpin, but like it's a massive battle going on, and it's like, what how's it? Because
They on private land, it's private.
Were they?
I have no idea where they were.
I'm like, yo, that was a pretty big battlefield. Like, you got Captain America or Captain Marvel coming in from outer space, you got these massive ships coming down to assault. Like nobody noticed that all this stuff was going on too.
I mean, if I had to like hammer it in the hole, I would say Tony probably got a lot of empty land because when you have a company that's dedicated to missiles and you got missile testing ranges and you were just like, no more, what happened to all that land? We can just assume they were sitting out there if we had to make it make sense. But I ain't really think about it.
They had to. Oh, and he's next to it's next to some large body of water too, because that whole scene. I don't know. It's not a big deal, but I do think about it sometimes when I see scenes like Yelena coming back and like everyone else. Every time we see characters come back from the blip, like I'm like, well, in the timeline, they're still having a big battle at the same time. Like, what's
Yeah. You'll see a hunter in a highlighter vest pop up in the middle of the battle.
right?
His rifle, little hound dog beside him. He's like-
According to Screen Rant, No Way Home will take place summer 2024, which means it would be taking place before what we're watching now.
This movie.
And can I just say that this is, in my opinion, once we see what's going to happen in No Way Home, we're going to be like, how the hell did this happen? And we ain't seen no evidence of this in Hawkeye.
No, I want to know where's Spider-Man because this is all in New York. Like he couldn't call Spider-Man.
Well, Marvel, like almost the entire universe takes place in New York, and so you just be assuming people don't leave their borough.
I'm like, hey, bro, like they so fake. These bond and friendship is not real. They don't be showing up for each other. Like,
oh man.
know.
Now that they brought in Kingpin, where has Daredevil been?
Ain't
This
nobody
mad
there,
violence.
man.
You chilling in Hell's Kitchen? You just not gonna leave at all?
It's like the
Yo,
boys. Like
that's-
nobody's. The photo op in right. They had scheduling conflicts. They
Be
couldn't
like,
make it.
nobody texts me. I'm good.
Yeah, it's so interesting, like when you just talk about Hell's Kitchen, because it seems like I thought until they said otherwise, the Netflix universe was a pocket at an MCU that was like a weird parallel, because like the Hell's Kitchen that exists in Daredevil and the Harlem that exists in Luke Cage, neither of them areas are like that anymore. More Hell's Kitchen than Harlem. Harlem is spots, it's just smaller, but like you go down, Hell's Kitchen's like right by Javits, and Javits is a convention center. And you got all these fancy restaurants that be supporting the convention center and Riverside Apartments. Like it's not the 80s anymore.
Maybe they need to address that once we do, because I'm confident we are going to see him on screen again. Maybe that's why he's just doing lawyer stuff now. But then again, just leave. Like, why are you staying there?
That's crazy. I did not know Hell's Kitchen was near Javits Center because I've done shows in the Javits Center, and I had no idea that Hell's Kitchen was that close. Like, is it like it's on the same block?
Yeah, like you start walking down the
crazy.
water.
That is crazy. That just blew my mind. Like, oh man, that's crazy.
If you're
That's
ever
crazy.
in New York and you're in the mood for some Peruvian food, I think it's Peruvian. There's a restaurant called
Pio Pio?
Yo!
Yes, bro.
Yo, Pio is so good.
Gotta do it.
Wait a minute, I need to go back.
I like Peruvian food. How's they ceviche?
Pio.
Ceviche hitting, huh?
Oh man,
Everything was hitting. We actually got put on.
that dish in Pio, not one. Shout out to my mom. She put me on.
Shout out to Kari Randolph, the comic book animation artist, because we were just at his table in New York Comic Con like 2017 squad. We've been back there once, and he was like, "Yeah, we trying to find a spot to eat." He was like, "Bro,
Pio.
you go down the street, it's a Peruvian restaurant."
You go in the basement, go down them steps.
There's a Pio Pios in Charlotte. I don't know if it's the same, but same name.
It might
Yo.
be.
Yeah.
I just gotta say, I love how hyped we get for food.
I love that we was talking about the same restaurant. She's like, "If you ever down there," I was like,
Oh man,
"I know." I've been.
You know what? I'm mad. I went to New York City Comic Con in November, and I did not go, and I'm upset because I was right there. I could have went to POP. I didn't even think about it.
Yep.
If I don't go to POP in the next 30 days, I'm gonna be upset with myself. I need to go back.
Yo, all I know is POPO just got a huge endorsement on this show. Like we got Captain's Law taking notes in the chat, Daniel Fisher co-signing. Like,
also, I just Googled POPO. Apparently, there are several, and they go by number. So there's like POPO 1, POPO 2, POPO 3. It goes all the way up to 8 on Google. So I didn't even know there was that many. But yeah, but I want to go to that one.
Charlotte.
If I go back to POPO, I need to go to that one. That's the first one I've ever been. That's the only one I've been to. That's the one I'm gonna go back to. Oh, it was great. Oh.
Those tostones be hitting.
I don't like the way you said tostones.
Tostones.
I didn't hear it the first time. I heard it the second.
Toastone. There's an emphasis on the toes. Toes.
oh man.
What were we talking about? I forgot.
I don't know.
Oh, bringing Daredevil in, I was like, how they gonna do that? Because like the Hell's Kitchen that existed in Daredevil don't exist.
Okay. I was like, maybe he's running lawyer stuff.
Where does Moon Knight operate out of?
Yonkers.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Because he's in New York too. Like everybody's there. Like to this
Yonkers
point,
is
everybody's in New
different,
York.
too.
Like
Yeah, that's the weird Marvel thing. Like everything be in New York. That's sort of why Runaways was refreshing, because Runaways was like, yo, we on the other coast. Yeah, other people exist, but we ain't over there. So stuff just happening.
West Coast Avengers.
Does he stay in Yonkers? Do they ever go like to the Bronx, or they just Yonkers all the time?
Yo, I'm just
I
trying
don't
to.
know. I was a guest. Yonkers was a guest.
Oh,
I have no idea. Oh, Lou, while we have you here, did you watch What If and Loki? If so, what were your thoughts on either of those shows or both?
Man, so
you have
Loki, good execution on an idea that I definitely think was like hammer fisted. Like it could have not worked. There were so many ways that could have not worked. It was one of those like when we wrote Loki into the MCU, we didn't think he was going to be around, but like Tom Hiddleston killed this role, so we about to make this shit work, and they went and made it work. Also, shout out to Jonathan Majors. That man is just a thespian. Like acting is an art craft to him. I have not seen him in anything where I've been like, I've even seen him in movies like The Last Black Man in San Francisco. His character was hella weird, but I was like, yo, he was killing this weird dude.
Yeah.
So Loki was cool. What if mixed bag. Some were good. There was stuff like, ooh, Doctor Strange is evil. I'm unenthused. They had a whole missing episode before the finale. They were just like, I'm gonna move this over there. Strange is so self-centered. Like it was so not far a leap. I was like, I guess.
Oh man, yo, that's the best take I've heard on that episode. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Lou,
Unenthused.
we spent a lot of time asking people what their starting five would be if they had to pick from different episodes before the finale, because we knew we were going to get one, and then we saw who they chose. How did you feel about their choices at the end?
Well, the random person out of nowhere was super annoying to me. The missing episode that they're going to slide to season 2, I'm like, I don't know, because if it needed to be present, there was a gap. I thought I missed something. So Peggy Carter is it's just like an OG captain. So like, she was a shoe-in. Party Thor is weird. Who else was on that squad? There was Random Gamora. Who am I missing?
Killmonger was on the squad, but he somehow never changed, which I didn't like.
He was on that. Yeah, why?
I thought they missed the mark with that. They could have did something better for Killmonger.
wasn't did they just pick him?
They kept him
be
the same way.
sacrifice?
No, he wasn't a sacrifice. He was
No,
like
but
he
they
tried to
knew.
take it.
Yeah. I didn't mean like
Yeah.
not in like a noble sacrifice, but like they knew he was gonna go for the power, and so they used his ambition to trap him into that void with the with what's his name, Ultron.
Oh yeah, he did get trapped in that little one
Yeah,
square footage cube
I
of
felt
prison.
like that's the only reason why they picked him, because they knew that was he was going to betray him.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I'll say it before, and I'll say it again. I did like that Ultron was the main villain because I felt like they killed him too fast in Age of
Yeah,
Ultron.
that's solid. I can
He-
see. But it was also very typical AI story. I felt like they could have got to the same place in a more specific to Ultron way. I don't know how they would have done it, but like, oh man, I'm an AI. Life is trash. There's like other places I'm gonna kill that too. What do I do now? That emptiness, and they're like, oh, find some more people to kill. Yeah, and I'm like, okay. He had all that time by himself. I wish he would have came to that same conclusion for a different reason.
Yeah, I wasn't really with the inspiration for Ultron, but
But I like bringing the character back.
I like that his interpretation in What If was better than his in the Ultron movie. Like it was more on par with the character than how they portrayed him in the film, and that's
Yeah,
that's
I
the
could
bright
see
spot
that.
for the character selection.
I also like what if gave like a bunch of different people chances to tell stories. Like, oh, you got a half hour, we're gonna animate this, we're gonna bring the actors back. It's all yours. Just use the scenario.
I like that too. Not to bring it back to Hawkeye, but you just reminded me. I liked how they showed what's her name? Florence Pugh. What's the character's name?
Yolanda.
Yeah, Elaine. I like how they showed blipping from her point of view. I think that's the first time we've seen it. We've watched people blip, but we've never seen what they see when they go and come back.
That was cool.
There was
That
no
was-
Dusty, but also Spider-Man knew he got Dusty.
What?
And that's they messed up in what did he in not Infinity War, in Endgame. He was talking to Tony Stark and he was like, yeah, remember we got all Dusty? We did not see he get Dusty.
He watched himself disintegrate for whatever reason.
Yeah, he did.
That long drawn out.
He did slowly.
Dramatic scene with
Mr.
him
Stark.
and
Good.
I don't feel so good.
So
How did he get off that planet though?
He saw,
Just how did he get off the planet?
man,
Doctor Strange's swing ring.
Swing ring.
'Cause
Oh,
him
okay.
and
Oh yeah.
Strange came
Doctor
back at the same
Strange.
time. He was
Forgot.
like, Come
Yeah.
on, jump through the hole.
Yeah.
Lou, how did you feel about Shang-Chi?
That was fun. I think Simu Liu is a fun cat, and it was a cool take on the character. I like that they brought it in. It was my first time in theaters post COVID. I wanted it to be Candyman, but that didn't happen. So Shang-Chi is where it happened.
Better choice.
And so I don't know. It was solid. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the MCU does in general, just because like they're expanding. And when Shang-Chi gets his own movie and like Echo's supposed to get a spinoff, and you're like, how big are we going to get before this gets a little out of control? How much money you got to throw at this? I'm confused.
A lot.
See how it all connects.
Disney has a lot of money to throw at this.
I think it's a little out of control, especially since we've had like writers admit that they didn't speak to each other. Like
that's exactly why like the timeline thing can't be exact talking about like normal comics, because
That's
you
crazy.
gotta cuff. You would have to cuff different teams' hands and have them in constant communication to get it exact. So they'd be like, "You got a window. Make your joint work within this window. You can't use that character because that character will be here at the present." Like that's what your um, executive editor is for. Oh man, I really want to use Natasha Romanoff's sister. Okay, if you do this, Hawkeye got to take place in this window because something something post movie. I didn't watch Black Widow, but there's people that be like, I want to use this character. No, you can't because they're gonna be over here right now.
That's
Yeah,
wild how they did
that
not
is.
communicate across rooms like that,
Remember
especially
when?
if they lean in continuity the way they do.
Remember in Loki, the Infinity Stones didn't work, and they were like, what was it that the Infinity Stones are not supposed to work within different universes, but in Loki they said they do, and just this one time we were gonna just pretend like that didn't happen.
Yeah,
To me, that's not some like little thing. That's
yeah, that's
huge.
major. That's major. You
The-
get fired for that.
right, like the entire MCU before 2 years ago was around the Infinity Stones, and you're telling me writers didn't even know how they work?
That was the thing with the Ultron Infinity Stones for What If, right? Like that
That's what it
whole
was. And
scenario
What If.
shouldn't have been a thing.
Sorry, it wasn't Loki. It was What If. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
So
that was the Loki timeline was correct in its explanation of the Infinity Stones and how they don't work in. They only work in their respective universes. So you take them outside of the universes, they're powerless. They're paperweights. But in the What If series, they weren't. They did not abide by those rules. Like Ultron was able to go across multiverses using the same Infinity Stones to wreak havoc, and that should not have been the case.
that's why I said
Also,
it's
too, the writing of these shows happened so far apart that because like COVID threw a lot of stuff out of whack in the schedule and them shuffling things around. Like they probably needed a little bit more time to develop What If, because originally What If was not supposed to be canon. Like that was they announced that when they announced the show that the show was not going to be canon. I think that's a bigger issue than them doing the Infinity Stone thing. Them making the canon all of a sudden that complicated things because
They made it canon.
Nobody would have cared. Yeah, that's like that. That's my
I
gripe.
feel like that's anti the point of What If.
Yeah.
Like they should not have made it canon. Like this is just hypothetical scenarios and us experimenting with storylines that may or may not be interesting to some people. Like that's as simple as the show should have been.
That's what made the show interesting.
That kind of
What If
that kind of threw it off. But it's not like canon in the sense that it's affecting the 616. It's canon in the sense that somewhere in a universe or multiverse this happened.
You think they'll use, now that What If is canon, they'll use that to bring Natasha back into 616?
Nah.
Negative. I don't think so.
I think ScarJo done.
Yeah.
I
would agree.
But I like
that.
that's like one of my favorite things about the MCU though. Like when the actor says they're out, you gotta move on because comics have a tendency to bring back whoever after somebody gets like 1% of the number of issues the other character has had to try to make a name for themselves. Like my random comic hill I die on is like, yo, just like take out the old guard. Marvel, DC, all of them. I don't need no more Bruce Wayne. I don't need no more Tony Stark. We got anywhere between 700 and 1,000 issues with them, depending on what books you count in. And like, that's enough. I can go back and read that, especially since now you got unlimited. But even before that, like, I think another way comics distribution is dumb is they don't organize and put out chronological trades enough where like you could just walk in a bookstore and be like, oh, I want to start from here.
Mm-hmm.
So
they
like
digitalize them, or is that just not a thing?
That's only recently a thing. So like the same way like scan laters helped manga get big in the US because they was like, I'm gonna scan this and a bunch of people who know Japanese gonna translate it. Like reading comics when I started reading comics in like '08 was either going through long boxes or finding them on the internet from people who had scanned them, which at the time, like the comic industry didn't care because they were like, there really is no other way to read this. And we be sometimes referencing the comic from 30 years ago that nobody read. So you're like, y'all cool. And then when they actually started putting out digital, they started like grip that a little bit more.
For some reason, that just made me think about old girl from Black Panther, and now I'm mad.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
I'm just
Wrench
like,
in the spoke.
I'm gonna just wait and see what happens because all these reports be weird. I
Yeah,
don't know how often I've gone to Giant Freaking Robot or BSO for comic news, and it could totally be true or it could not. But I was like, I'm not gonna get this energy till I see what happens. In
yeah.
some
We'll
official
we'll we'll
statement.
wait for some official news. The production's still on hiatus, so whether or not that news is true is one thing. But they've not resumed filming, so
Correct.
I,
we'll see.
what I don't want is what they did with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I
Yes,
really do
please.
feel that just cutting out the pandemic because we're in a pandemic hurt that show. They should have left it. It's
Wait,
this.
but how does the pandemic work in the MCU? Blip problems.
So somehow there was a virus that went around. Because they cut it out, we don't know if it got around because people blipped back or if it was around before they blipped, and because people blipped, it got worse fast. But there was a whole pandemic and people needed vaccines, and the rich were hoarding them, and that's why the flag smashers came about. And I really feel like that hurt them. That hurt the flag smashers. What's the word I'm looking for?
Plot.
Their agenda. And what we saw on screen was just a whole bunch of people who were mad who didn't exactly tell us why they're mad.
I thought they were mad because they was like, yo, we was living in places and people came back and was like, this shit ours, but you
No,
ain't been here in 5 years.
that's the rewrites.
Yeah, those are the rewrites.
I mean, it's a good enough motivation for me. I have like other beefs that weren't the Flag Smashers with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But the Flag Smasher was like good enough for me. Especially since like loose fitting terrorist groups never have that deep motivation. It's gotta be loose enough where you can pull in randos.
That's a fair point. But still, I think there were aspects of the Flag Smashers that seemed hollow in the sense that their mission, that of course the whole eviction, that thing is an important plot too, but like they were the whole time they were going around stealing medication and vaccines, and I'm like, why are they stealing medication and vaccines? Oh, because there's a global pandemic. Oh, that would have been nice to know in the show that that's going on, and that's why we're watching them steal medicine. Like, other than that, like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the plot that they came up with was cool, but that would have helped
I mean,
better understand why they were stealing
I
medication.
feel like the person. So that's why I was saying like I had other problems with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Since like I'm here now, I'm gonna see like the person whose plight I least understood was the person whose name is first in the title.
Why did he give him that? Tell us how you feel, Lou.
Like, if you're not the cool, if you're not, the titular character is not the coolest person, you've done something wrong, off rip. But as close as they got to motivation, it's like telling you why any person would be reluctant to pick up the shield, but not why Sam is reluctant to pick up the shield. And it's like why any black person might be mad about how Captain America went down, but you never see like exactly why Sam is mad. And so his whole appeal to Flag Smasher, like, yo, let's all be nice people. I'm sitting here like, I guess, but isn't this supposed to be your show? Meanwhile, like Bucky's story, hyper specific to Bucky. It gave you an individual, it gave you an action, and it flowed through. And so I was like, yeah, Sam Wilson has the shield, but he was like not the coolest person in his own show, and it does not make me excited beyond the image, and the image makes you excited just by putting up a poster. So like, what did all these do for me? I also felt it was weird that even though they had a black showrunner who co-wrote the last episode and wrote the first episode, the directors for all the episodes were white folk, and then like the writers for all the in between episodes were for white folk, and I was like, that feels very poster boyish.
Mm.
And it
Good
read
points. Good points.
it read on screen. I never, I, I disliked a lot of that show and a lot of Sam's decisions that I just didn't consider how second fiddle he was when on the show. Like him and Bucky were not equals as far as representation.
Yeah, and your name is first. It's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's supposed to be your come up story to becoming Captain America. How do you do that from the background?
Do you think it was intentional? Like, do you think the writers may have softened his storyline in order to make it seem like it's not about him? So they softened it up so much that now we're mad.
I don't know. I be feeling like they want to play it so safe that they don't take risk, and when you don't take risk, you don't even really have a character. Like, ah, man, we got the Black Captain America. Gotta make all the black people happy. So we can't play to this small percentage of people who is angry on Twitter, but we also can't play too far in our focus group. Like, let's split the middle, which means we just got a plot. We're gonna move through this plot.
That's
It
probably
definitely felt like that.
I would argue that it was probably pointless to even ride the middle because the amount of people who felt like the show was too woke was outrageous. You might as well have gone all the way.
Right.
They were gonna be mad at it.
Exactly. I think you should have went all the way.
Yeah.
That's very true because it's once you dip your toe in, like it's going to be an issue. So you may as well just dive off the deep end and just take it because you're gonna have to take it anyway. So if you want to do it, do it. Like jump in the water because it like the fact that the Isaiah Bradley stuff happened so early in the show, and then we don't touch on it again till like the last episode, barely.
Yo,
and it's
they,
like,
bro, they gave him a
'cause
corner.
it's kind of like,
museum.
oh, we gonna do this, and then it goes away, and then we back to like flag smashing, still in medicine.
Yeah.
For the vaccines, and I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
Isaiah,
Like, what's the point of that?
he deserves, if not a hour special, then a movie or a show to tell that story. But
Yeah, that should be a show, definitely.
That should have been what the show was about.
I don't
Like,
think
what
they'll
you
do
mean? That to lose point, that should have been the whole show. Like that was it. Like resolve that conflict first, come back for season 2 for the other stuff. Like that would have been well, and it was supposed to be a movie too. Like they just botched that thing. It got botched.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
and then like
because it should.
Sam wasn't
was
even
supposed
super
to be
mad
a
about it.
movie.
He just felt weird about it, which was so weak to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dang,
That
that's
was
crazy.
Like neutral.
he should have
like-
went up in Shield
but-
storming. There was a black Captain America. Nobody told me.
I mean, yeah, like honestly, like it would have been that would have been so different, and it would have actually worked. Like it would have made a lot more people interested in Sam as a Captain America and as a character in the first place. Like because like yeah, there's a lot of skeletons in the closet. We know there are skeletons in the closet. So when you acknowledge the fact there are skeletons in the closet, then you give us a character that can actually do something about the skeletons in the closet. Like, oh, okay, now this makes sense to have a black Captain America in that sense because he went there. Like, and you can't just dip your toe in and then walk away. Like,
And then they had the nerve-
that's what we do, and that's what they do in grade school. Like, no, we not dealing with it. Like, no. You got this opportunity. You want to make this story. Dive in and deal with it.
And then they had the nerve to give him a little spot in the museum that was all off to the side.
Bro, that's what I was saying. I was like, yo, that's your reward. You got a corner.
He should have turned that whole museum upside down. They literally had him in the corner off to the side.
That's really how it be in real life, though. They be like, gotta placate folk. We just gonna put something up, but like not make it too obvious so that they know where it is. But we ain't gonna cause any trouble or stir no pots. I enjoyed that. Like I enjoyed that moment ironically because I was like, yes, this is the whole show right here. We put the black guy in the corner of the museum. This is it.
It is because it is reflective of how they treated that entire plot in the show.
Yes.
Like it was a corner piece.
That's reflected how they treated Sam in the show. That's why I was like, yo, this is it. This is the show.
That's funny. Oh,
The
man.
ending fits the rest.
I wonder who was Captain America longer, Steve Rogers or Isaiah Bradley? Because I mean, yeah,
Technically, Isaiah Bradley, because majority of that time,
Steve was
Rogers
on
was
ice.
in ice.
Right.
Okay, Isaiah Bradley definitely fought more battles.
We need
Similar to like Harlem Hellfighters in combat. Remember, Steve was on like a press tour, probably meeting Nancy Reagan out back somewhere.
Yo.
Why do we know this information about Nancy Reagan? Who told this? And
Oh, my
why did they
goodness.
tell this?
Somebody was like, "This is how you be a woman with class," and showed a picture of Nancy Reagan with her family, and then like
gracious.
compared it to a picture of Madonna and was like, Madonna ain't on it. And somebody was like, oh, really? Because according to this audio biography from the 90s, Nancy Reagan had a reputation in Hollywood. And I'm just saying, Ronald Reagan was doing them World War II propaganda videos. Steve Rogers was on tour, and my mind is canon.
Oh, my goodness.
She probably thought that's the most patriotic thing she could do.
Yeah, that was news I was not expecting to hear in this year. Of all the things that happened this year, that's top 5 easily.
Shout out to Twitter because the memes
Wild.
were fire.
Wild.
I missed the memes.
They're still there.
It's
I gotta look.
Yo, I just like-
on Twitter.
That was a great
I just
night.
imagine Cap trying to put together history out of ice when he's first out of ice and being like, yo, Ronald Reagan, the actor, became president. Yo, Ronald Reagan married Sloppy Nancy. She became first lady. Bro, I remember this one time I was in story for another time.
Did you call her Sloppy Nancy?
He did.
No, I was trying. Yo, some meaner names went through my head,
Hey.
and I was like, "This is Steve Rogers. Like, what's the meanest thing Steve Rogers would say? Sloppy is the meanest thing Steve Rogers would
Yeah,
say.
because
We going with that.
he's not
You're
gonna
right.
swear. He's not gonna swear. That's wild. Oh man, yo, that was a wild night though. It was like midnight when I started seeing those tweets come in, and bruh, I tell you, I woke up. I was like, wait, what is this? What is going on right now? Like, where did this come from? Like, that was one of those like shots that just fired across the room and nobody understood what. Like, wait,
Naughty
what?
Nancy. Yes, Daniel Fisher. That is what Steve Rogers would say. Naughty Nancy.
Oh man, that is crazy.
Wait a minute. Nancy Reagan and Monica Lewinsky were alive at the same time, right? You think they ever met?
Oh man, they got war stories. That's for sure.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Oh man.
I done finished all my spending.
Either way,
Oh,
I was
man.
just saying, wow. While Steve was off on his press tour meeting Naughty Nancy out back, Isaiah Bradley was in them trenches. So
That's true. Because he also fought in Korea and in Vietnam, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Easily.
When Steve Rogers woke up and ran around New York City and saw all them black people, even if he wasn't racist, even if he was not racist, which I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he wasn't, that he would have been like, yo, it's a lot of them out here.
Hey, yo. Oh man,
He's a
this is
C. He's
funny.
black as a black CEO.
Yo, there
Oh
is
man.
so much different about this country post World War II that Steve Rogers will
Yeah,
have an
that
aneurysm just thinking about. Hawaii is a state? What are highways? Like everybody has an automobile? He would say automobile, whole thing, every time.
Yeah, straight up.
oh man. Yeah, that cultural adjustment would have been an entire movie on its own.
I'm not gonna say what I was thinking out loud.
Say
All right.
I'm gonna put it in a private chat and then y'all
we
can
were,
tell me.
we were supposed to talk about low-key fire
Low-key
shows,
fire.
anything that we've been watching that's not really getting that much buzz, or just in general that we want to talk about and we've been kind of checking out.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but there's a Netflix movie called Beckett that I feel like people need to watch. I've seen Beckett like 3 times, and I enjoy it.
That's the John David Washington movie?
Yeah, it's got like Alfred Hitchcock vibes.
What's it about?
A couple traveling in Greece, and they encounter a situation, and it all goes from there. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's so vague, but okay, I'm gonna check that
Yeah.
out. We in Greece, and a thing happens. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Hey, imagine like
A disaster in Greece while you're traveling. He's a
Imagine
business
doing, like,
system
the press
integrations.
the press tour for that, and he's like, yeah, man. John David Washington's like, yeah, man, we in Greece, and a situation happens. Go check it out. People be like, okay. Right.
Yeah, y'all really gotta watch that. Beckett.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check it out.
Has everyone seen Bruised?
Nope.
That's the Halle Berry joint?
That was great.
Oh
That
yeah.
was great. I was stressed.
I can't be stressed right now. Good gracious.
Okay. Not you. Don't watch that. Everybody else. But it's a great boxing movie. Well, no, it's technically MMA. You can tell Halle Berry had to train for that. She also directed it. But it was up there with like film boxing match fights. Like if I had to compare which ones were more difficult to watch, that was hard to watch. Like they were really in the octagon going at it. I felt like I was watching a real fight. Like everyone on Discord knows I love boxing. That was rough to watch.
She was getting beat up, huh?
I wouldn't say that, but it's more just they took it there. It's a very gritty film. And it's not just about her training and fighting. It's about a woman who, has gotten a new responsibility that she hasn't had before. And she now has to work. And before she was working for herself, and now she's working for a purpose. But
Okay.
it's not
interesting.
It's not a nice film. A lot of foul language. It deserves the rated R rating that it got, and I recommend that everybody watch it. It's getting Christmas time, though. I wouldn't say you want to watch it with the family. It's not a family film. It's I want to see this type of film. You don't want to eat that. Watch that with hot chocolate. You want to eat it.
Sex Lives of College Girls on HBO Max. Low key fire.
Hey, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I got like a LP Fudger for teen dramas. It's my turn off my brain, watch TV. And
who's your favorite character on that show? Out of the 4 girls.
Out of the 4 girls. Homegirl who write for the Cotillion.
Yo, she's wild, bro. Hey, yeah, I enjoy watching her. I think I like the chick from New York. Her punchlines are they crack me up.
It's HBO or HBO Max?
HBO Max. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mindy Kaling, 4 college girls. They go through and they all go through some horrible shit resolving college and sex, but like they throw that in the middle of so much comedy
Yeah.
that you just be enjoying yourself thoroughly, even when you're like, dang, that's messed up. And dang, they handling this in a real way. But I also spent the other 20 minutes of the show laughing my butt off.
Mm.
Yeah. And then it's like I said I enjoy teen dramas. Teen dramas are normally high school. They slid us into college. They slid us into college freshmen. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for all of this.
I can't watch the teen dramas. I still haven't watched Euphoria.
Bro, Euphoria is um it is definitely Gen Z. It is
Heavy
yeah,
Gen Z.
yeah, it's definitely heavy. Cinematography on that show go crazy.
Yeah. Superb. Superb.
And Zendaya acted her butt off. That was like the time post Disney where I was like, oh, she got this. She ain't just like a Disney child. Like
Yeah.
she's doing it.
The range.
Yeah. Also, low key fire. I started watching soccer this year, Premier League. Soccer was not my sport, but
What team were you watching?
Liverpool.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
So I was sort of like backed into like a two-team option because my friends want to go to the North America World Cup in 26, and I was like, I don't want to go in blind, so let me start watching soccer. And so one of my homies is a United fan. Wilson is a Chelsea fan. So they was like, all right, these are like the big four teams. You got option of two. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna watch Liverpool because that's what's there. And the first game I watched with them, there was more brown people on the team, and so here I am.
Oh, nice. What four options did they give you?
Um, I could have gone. Wait, no, I said my friends United. My other friends City. So they was like, all right, we got Chelsea, we got City. You can either go Man United, Liverpool, or Arsenal. And I was like, I'm gonna watch this first week, just watch a bunch of games, pick whatever looks coolest to me. And I was like, oh, bunch of brown people. Oh, and that Mo Salah song. Yo, soccer chants are fire. I was watching it was like Mo Salah. I was like, what is this? Every NFL team got the same exact chant with different rhythm. They got player specific chants. Okay, I can be here. Then also like it took me like 3 weeks because if I know something, I can love something, and so like after the third week, the game started slowing down and stopped just looking like people kicking the ball around. And I was like, yo, I could bounce with soccer. It's low key fire. I also did it because I realized like my dad. So I had this soccer opinion that my sister made me realize that was my dad's opinion sometime last year during the pandemic. Because my dad's always like, yeah, it's like a bunch of people running after a ball for a guy who was standing there the whole time to stop the ball, send them back direct the other way. And that became my opinion. And I said it to my sister, she was like, Dad says that almost word for word. And I was like, dang, is this even my opinion? Did my dad just implant this to my brain when I was young? I gotta like give soccer a fair shot. And now I'm here. So soccer, Premier League, low key fire.
I had to do the same thing, honestly. Like they were outside opinions influencing my opinion on the sport. And then I actually started watching it because like I had a friend in high school that played. So I actually started going to soccer games, and I'm like, yo, this is like not that bad. And then like I started watching Premier League and MLS. I mean MSL, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can get into this. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. But yeah, low key fire. I don't know if this is like low key because it's starting to generate a lot of buzz, but Succession, because we've been having some dialogue in Discord about this. Yo, if you're not watching this, I highly recommend y'all go start watching Succession.
You might be missing out on something. Where you at now, Coop?
season 2, episode 2 or 3. I don't know, but I'm steady going. It's a wild show.
Yeah, it's like highly nuanced and character driven show. It's yeah.
It is great acting. Dialogue is like absolutely like I don't know who wrote this show, but this show deserves to win awards in the writing category because like it is insane. Like just from the script to the overall story, like it's so relevant and nuanced to what we're seeing, especially with big business and late stage capitalism, because that's kind of sort of what this show is all about. Like you got this big family run media conglomerate where the father is very old and he has to find someone who is going to succeed him in the company. And he's got children, so of course they're his first option, and that's kind of sort of what the show is about. And you get to learn all the personalities and the people and of his children and his inner circle and like just the political landscape of business and how all of that works and how it just destroys family dynamics. Like it is wild to watch it, but it's really good. It's highly entertaining.
I got another movie. Sandra Bullock and Netflix are 2 for 2 for right now. I don't know about everybody else, but I enjoyed Bird Box. That was my kind of movie. And I watched The Unforgivable, I believe is the name of the film. Mm-hmm. And JBM, it's not for you.
It's not. I started watching it and I liked it so far. I'm like 20 minutes into it.
All right, I don't want to spoil nothing then.
Okay.
But he has left the building. I don't want to spoil it for you now.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. That's why I couldn't do much about Beckett, because if I talk about it, I'm just gonna spoil the story. Yeah.
All right, I will say nothing about it. You finish that movie, and then we'll talk about it on the Discord. A show which I talk about every year, so y'all know I love it. Insecure. I would say it's upsetting me more than making me happy right now, but that's because I'm thoroughly invested in these people's lives, and I feel like I don't know, like I want them to make the decisions I want them to make, and they're not doing it. It's frustrating me, but watch the show.
But Insecure is also high key fire. Like that's they for the culture. This is the last season though, so they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out one way or another.
They got 2 episodes.
They do. Wait, they gotta get there.
They can't give me everything that I need them. They can't do it in 2 episodes. They're gonna piss me off. We have to prepare ourselves. Someone is gonna make a bad decision, and we're gonna be mad.
So should I start watching this show if they're gonna end in disappointment?
No.
You think we're gonna?
It's not gonna end like in that level of disappointment. Like watch the show. Like this is high impact entertainment.
I'm not saying HBO and the writing is going to be bad. I'm saying the characters are going to do something that's going to make me angry. However, that would be on brand for these ladies. Like it's not whatever they choose is. I don't think it's going to be off brand.
Look, as long as Molly stays on the path that she's on, I'm okay. Like, cause she's on the right track, and as long as she stays on the right track, I'm cool.
I don't want to say it here. Lou, are you up to date on Insecure?
I didn't watch last episode because I was supposed to watch it with my mother tonight in New Jersey.
Damn, United.
All right, I'm watch it. JBM, finish. Coop, I'm gonna text you. Lou, when you finish, then hit me so I can say what I want to say about mine.
Okay. Other random thing, low key fire. If anybody has some little people in their life, like Green Eggs and Ham on Netflix.
Oh,
bro,
yo, my mind went somewhere else. Something like, yo, Lou, what?
No. If you got little people, watch Green Eggs and Ham with them. That joint is like 2 years.
We right here.
I'm trying to push through it. That show is like 2 years and some change old. Yet it's been on Netflix recommendations. Like one of them shows that They could have done the minimum. And everybody went like, okay, it's a Dr. Seuss TV show. That joint, the animation team, quality animation goes hard. The way they keep the core, the green eggs and ham story, and somehow flush it out to like a 10 to 12 episode series works. And I just was like 6 episodes in, like, yo, why is this show going so hard right now? They did not have to work this hard on this, but they did, and I'm all in. And it's like season 2 is coming, but apparently season 2 been coming since right before the panini, so I don't know when it's coming. And now I'm waiting. I'm glad I caught on. I'm glad I caught onto this joint late because I can't imagine have to wait super long. Which is what happened with Wu-Tang and American Saga. Like, people were waiting and was like, dang, pandemic got me stuck. I started watching it like 1 month before season 2 came out. So I jumped in at the right time.
That's when I'm gonna start Succession.
I thought Lou was about to tell us they done rebooted Little People Big World. Bro, what? Oh man.
A reality show that is drama free, that's very inspiring to watch, and has made me cry on several occasions. Love on the Spectrum. There are 2 seasons on Netflix. It's about
pretty good. That is pretty good.
It's fantastic. It's a reality show, non-scripted, and I wouldn't call it a dating show, but it takes place in Australia, and it follows a group of individuals who are on the autism spectrum, and they want to date. They want love, and most of them have never dated before. You're watching them experience their first dates on the show. You do see a few couples who are already together. By the time the show comes on, you get to see how they make their relationships work. But it's an absolutely beautiful show. I was so hyped when season 2 came out. I think I watched it in a day. And yeah, it's fantastic.
I haven't seen that. I confuse it with another story about love. Something, love. I forget the name. It had like Anne Hathaway in it.
Oh, you're talking Love Life on HBO? No,
I think so.
That's not Anne Hathaway, but that's the other love show people be talking about.
Yeah, it was like different stories of people that was all involved in love, like romance.
You said HBO Max?
HBO, yeah, HBO Max, yeah.
Love Life. So the first season had Anna Kendrick. I ain't watched it. The second season, actually, that's
Oh no, Love Life is another one. Yeah, it's not Love Life, but yeah.
Okay, what other show people be talking about with Love in the title?
With Anne Hathaway?
Had Anne Hathaway in it. She was like, well, I'm gonna just spoil this. Her episode was about her character being bipolar, severe bipolar. So she would be like really, really upbeat and happy, and then she would be like super depressed, and it would span for like months.
Modern Love.
Modern Love. That's it. Yep. Modern Love. That's a good series.
That's Amazon. Yo, so Amazon Prime, there's been a couple of shows that got me out, like Invincible and The Boys, but their interface is so, it's a non-starter for me. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go watch this on Amazon Prime, and I look at the screen and I'm like, yeah.
It's a deterrent.
It is.
That is everybody. Okay, that just reminded me then, like, so The Wheel, has anybody started watching that?
Wheel of Time?
Yeah, is that the full title?
The Wheel of Time.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
It's on Amazon Prime, so I watched it.
It's okay. Like it kept. I haven't watched the last, I guess, 2 episodes maybe, but like the story started picking up, and it got to a point where it was like really, really interesting, and then Thanksgiving happened, and I kind of fell off. Also, season 4 Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, has been really good thus far. We're, I think, 4 episodes in.
Man, I need Paramount Plus, man. I really want to watch it, but I do not have Paramount Plus.
Wait,
I can fix that.
Hey,
I can fix that.
Imani, you be banging with science fiction, right?
Yes.
Midnight Mass.
Just whatever N.K. Jemisin is writing, go read it. I've been on an
Yo,
NK
you know she
Jemisin
read
trip
Dune?
all year.
I finished Dune.
How was it?
It was fantastic, and I was doing the most by not just sitting it down. It was started off slow, but it was really good. I want to go get the next one. I think The Messiah is the next book. Dune Messiah.
I think you should also like go into that rabbit hole of like convoluted plays at political messaging on colonization, the Middle East, and natural resources, because that is a lot of the added value of Dune to me. Because the world building was definitely like it for the time, but now that we have more, I was like, eh. And then the story is kind of basic, but once you start like diving into all the subtext, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. But
NPR did a good podcast on that.
Yes, you put me on Throughline because of the zombies
oh
episode.
yeah,
And then JBM told me about the episode that they had about Dune, and I got to learn how Islam was so influential on the author, and also how the author was in politics, and how like he didn't like what he saw behind the scenes. And
yeah. Jump down that rabbit hole.
yeah.
It's
What's
a,
the name
it's
of
a
the
fun
author
one.
you said?
N.K. Jemisin. She is the first person ever to win 3 Hugo Awards in a row. I think it was 16, 17, 18. And she's a black woman, so she's the first black person and woman to do this, but like first person period. And gosh, she's just a pro.
The
I got it
Broken
down.
Earth.
Rest
Broken Earth trilogy.
to
So
Bell Hooks, by the way. We didn't say that at the start of the show. Bell Hooks.
So Broken Earth trilogy is like her biggest claim to fame. 3 books. I'm in the middle of the 3rd one now. She also did the comic series 12 issues, Far Sector, with Jamal Campbell, Black Woman Green Lantern. It was, I think, one of the most well put together comics I've read. Dope team. I read The City We Became, and I was just like, yo, she be writing like, you can both enjoy the story, but I think after like you get into enough of this, so you'd be like, yo, why don't this person be doing this? Yo, this is a very dope device. The 3rd book, she is writing one of the points of view chapters in 2nd person, and it's working. Like, do you know how hard it is to do a novel in 2nd person?
There's a version, a hardcover trilogy set on Amazon for $2,000. I want to read just because I want to know why that's $2,000.
Jesus. Yeah, I see something going for $25 here.
He said, second person, that's when it's like Imani said this. And then Imani walked down the steps.
No, 2nd person is you. You so then walk down the... No, you're using the word you, not you saying I. Like I'm saying you. You were wearing hoop earrings that day.
Yeah, you're basically putting the reader in the perspective of the actor, the character.
Copy, y'all. I was a better math and reader.
The narrator. The narrator is talking to the person as if they're almost talking to the person they're narrating about.
So basically, I'm gonna read this and be like, "Dang, I did all of that."
Essentially,
that's crazy.
Have you heard it in audiobook format?
Yes, I did the first one. It's a solid audiobook reading. Also, I did the first one in audiobook. I think I did the second one split. I started the first one in paperback format, but I'm about to be on a plane, and so I planned on switching once I was on the plane because I listen to audiobooks on planes.
Question: how do y'all feel about audiobooks? I really enjoy touching the paper, and I'm a hardcover. Like if it's a paperback, I don't want to read it. I need to feel a solid book in my hand. Like, how do y'all feel you retain the book?
I am I'm very into haptics and storytelling and how they work. So like there's plus minuses. There's certain stuff I won't do in audiobook. There's certain stuff I will. Um, does it have to be hardcover? No, but I can tell you like length intimidates me. But I do like the feel of a page, which is why like I read Tomi Adeyeme's books, the Children of Blood and Bone books. I have hardcovers, but I read it on my Kindle because I still get intimidated by book width.
Really?
Yeah, and so
If it's
on a
small,
Kindle,
I don't like to read it.
yeah, that's not me. And so I can Kindle takes that dimension out of it and I can plow through it that way. Audiobooks, um, if the author is reading it, I really like it. If there's a narrator, I feel like you have to be careful, especially when they're saying quotes, because they're putting infliction interpretation on top of that. I actually did when Dune, I did Dune on audio because I had a ton of Audible credits, and it's been a while since I read it before the movie came out. And I remember like listening to the narrator and being like, I want to have read that line with that infliction because I interpreted the character as feeling this way in the situation. And so
Yep, that's
um,
me.
audiobooks in that way can take some interpretation out from the reader. So I say you got to be careful, but it's also I think it's a good way to consume content because you can listen to an audiobook while you're doing something else and I be hella busy all the time. So there's certain stuff I know I'm not going to get to unless I sit down and listen to it while I'm studying.
Every time I try to go the audiobook route, I end up over critiquing the production of the audiobook and not paying attention to the actual story. Because it's like, I don't know. I prefer hardcover, hard copy, paper because one, I read at my own pace, and sometimes like if I can appreciate the quality, like the higher end quality audiobooks where they like actually go into like a deep level of production, like some of the Star Wars stuff. Well, I wouldn't say some of it, most of it that I've listened to has been like really cinematic and like because they put the scores and then like the music, well not the sound effects and like it's a really high level. But if it's just like if it doesn't have layers, then I don't. I'd rather read it because then I can start to visualize in my head easier than hearing someone read the story to me.
Um, my favorite thing to listen to on audiobooks though is definitely memoir read by the author. So like
Mm,
if you
yeah,
if
like a
you are reading
documentary.
like Between the World and Me read by Ta-Nehisi Coates and he's writing that in the form of a letter to his son, like that is an enhancement I think to the story. Jason Reynolds, I think a lot of the stuff Jason Reynolds was initially a poet, so even when he writes novels, to hear the poetic voice he was writing in while he reads, like that's dope too. So that's a fiction shit. But yeah, I value audiobooks, but I definitely like when I pick up anything, think about how I want to consume the thing. It's also the reason like I piss people off in the whole sub versus dubs argument because people be firmly in corners, and I'd be like, "Mm, what are we talking about?"
I
Yeah.
listen with it subbed and dubbed at the same time, just so I can get.
Huh?
I listen to it subbed in English, and then I watch anime subbed and dubbed in English at the same time.
I mean, what do you mean at the same time? This is
Like
what's
they're
confusing me.
English
speaking
English
English, and the
subtitles and then
subtitles
dubbed
are at
over in
the
English.
bottom.
Oh,
But the subtitles don't
yeah,
matter,
yeah,
which is
yeah. That be the thing. Subtitles don't match.
Yeah,
Um,
they're the subtitle. Oh God, I hate that when the subtitles
after
goes off like
we
severely.
we didn't talk about this show with you, Lou, but after Squid Game and finding out like from Korean people how messed up the subtitles were, especially for the female character who with the long curly hair, the long wavy hair. They messed up her uh lines in the subtitles so significantly that it altered our opinion of the character. Like, if you could speak Korean, she was someone to be pitied. Both the subtitles and the dub version were off completely, and so I am actually not so trusting of subtitles anymore. Anyway,
It's it's a it's the whole idea that translation and transliteration are two different things. You can translate the literal meaning of something without translating the meaning of story, and so it's a thing to watch out for. That's why I always be like, when people be like sub versus that, like, it depends. Sometimes it's just the way I want to consume it because it's also easier because I don't gotta give it my full attention. Sometimes I think they actually did a bomb job of converting from the Japanese to the English. Sometimes I think like both the subs and the dub sucks. Like Netflix Shaman King, or even that whole production of Shaman King, I was so disappointed because I feel like I've waited like 18 years to get a manga retelling of that show, and I couldn't watch it subbed or dubbed. And they also condensed like 80 chapters of manga into 10 episodes.
I can say I watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure a bit last week, and the voiceover was so different from the subtitles that I couldn't take it anymore. Like, every single word was different. To the point where I'm leaning more towards the subtitles being more correct. They just sounded better, but the dub, it was so different.
I don't think Netflix is good at translation, period, subs or dubs. I don't think Netflix is great at it.
That's a problem.
They've been criticized a lot over the years for relying too heavily on AI translators instead of human translators.
Because translation and transliteration not the same thing.
Yeah, and that has been a criticism, but it's a lot. It's more so in the anime community, and a lot of people don't. The majority of the American audience is not on Netflix to watch anime, so they're not as pronounced in their critiques of the Netflix translations has not been as loud up until this point.
Is Netflix doing its own translations for stuff that has already been translated?
Yes, that happened with Neon Genesis Evangelion, and people were pissed. It's one of those things I think is overrated, but like I get why that thing pissed people off.
Why would?
Who knows?
You probably have to pay extra for a translated version of a thing of some property, and then having it dubbed. So they probably are opting to do it themselves over paying for, like, they'll just buy the IP as is and then dub it and translate it in as many languages as they want to after they purchase the IP. And that's more than likely what they're doing.
Let's just say they're subbing a show. I'm wondering if they're going from Japanese to English, or are they going through other languages to get to English eventually? Or what if they're going from Japanese to English and the English is so jacked up, and then they're translating from English into other levels? Like I've recently been reading mantas, don't judge me, y'all, the Korean like romance mangas, and I'm reading one that's.
Why did you say don't judge me? Own your joint.
I mean, nah, because I've been, people close to me been making fun of me. I don't appreciate it. So, I've been keeping that to myself. But I'm reading one, and they were originally translating it from Korean, and it was taking a really long time to get it right. Now they're translating it from Spanish because there's another group translating it from Korean to Spanish, and apparently it's easier. But even though it may be easier to go from Korean to Spanish and then from Spanish to English, there's got to be something that's lost in between. So although I'm still reading the story, I'm concerned that I'm not getting the right thing.
Yeah,
And like the original author doesn't speak English, so
it's possible because I don't know about Korean and Japanese, but I do know like Mandarin. There are certain words. There are a lot of words in the Mandarin language that, depending on your inflection of that word, it changes the entire meaning of the word. And I would. It might be that Korean and Japanese and other Asian languages have similar types uh, of words in their vocabulary where, like, depending on how you inflect that word changes the meaning of the word and the intent behind the word.
Like how we can say okay several different ways.
Yeah,
you good?
Yeah, it's
yeah, like it. And AI are not gonna. They're not. It's not.
yeah.
AI translators not
There,
smart enough to pick
there's
that up
there's a true skill
yet.
to translating stuff right, and I don't know if Netflix does their due diligence. And that's not even just like translating from English because I enjoyed Lupin and I watched Lupin's and that's one of those things where like I started watching Lupin dubbed, and then switched over to sub. The subtitles were actually I think it was a better for me to go in an in between because there's times like the dubbing didn't feel like it matched the mood of what I was watching, and so even if the subtitles were kind of off, it was an easier translation for my eyes and the lines for me to understand. And that was, you're talking about a French live action show.
Well, guys,
I'm
we're
feeling
2 hours into the show, so
Yeah, man.
ooh,
It's good.
it's
good
it has
conversation
been
will do
a
that to
great
us.
conversation, but I think it is time to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock
10
Eastern
o'clock,
time.
man. Oh,
Uh,
one quick thing. If you're into monologues, catch Midnight Mass. That's what I'm gonna
Midnight
say.
Mass
Netflix. It's
on
a
Netflix. Okay,
horror show.
gotcha. Monty, close us out.
Yo, Lou, thank you for joining us. We're very, very happy to have you back. Hopefully, we can chill with you a little bit more since you'll be home. Hopefully, if you got free time, no pressure, just a little bit of pressure though, just a little bit. As always, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at Certified Gumbo. If you love us, please, or if even if you don't love us, just do it. Buy us some coffee. The link is in the description bar down below. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel and join us on Discord. We talk about this stuff all day, every day. Please join us. What's hot in the Discord right now?
Oh man,
Few things.
Edit,
there's a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
things. A lot of things. We
Channels
got
be jumping.
I was about to say, yeah, you got this channel
yeah.
differences.
Just pick a category and go in there. And I promise you, there's something going on.
I think that's all. Oh, please pay attention to the gaming chat. We played Among Us yesterday. It was mad fun, and we will be doing it again in a couple of weeks. Shout out to Mark and Ebony for organizing that. Hopefully, I'm gonna ask if we can get one in before Christmas because I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think we will depend. Like they've been doing a great job of organizing the game nights for us these past 2 weeks, and I so we all appreciate that because we
Yep,
definitely need
yep.
some organization of community things happening in the Discord, and definitely appreciate them taking that on for us. That has been so helpful. And yeah, Lou, you got any closing remarks?
Um, yeah, cool kicking with y'all. Glad to see y'all doing well. Keep consuming things. If you take away one thing from all like the various things I came out of nowhere instead you start thinking about, just like when you watch stuff, start thinking about all the types of decisions that are being made and like your bar or or your perspective on what you're consuming shifts, and it's how I watch everything. So if you want a random 2022 resolution, you like, I don't got one, I just want to watch these TV shows. Here's how you can watch these TV shows and start picking up some stuff.
Nice.
Great advice. Great advice. JBM, you got any closing remarks?
As always, thank you for joining and good night.
He said these drugs is nice.
He said, yep.
Yes, I am
They got
still heavily medicated.
Um,
And on that note,
Oh, hold! Shout out Monica, new wifey, married on Monday.
the way he dropped that
he
earlier
said, "New
was
wife."
just so. Yo,
First wife,
not
first
married.
wife.
First wife.
Yeah.
First wife.
Only wife,
Congratulations.
cherished wife. Yeah.
Congratulations on that. And yeah, we'll see. Well, I guess I'll see you over the holidays, but
Maybe.
possibly, who knows? We'll
Yeah,
see.
got a lot going on.
Got a lot of things happening. But if not, see you soon. See you all soon. We'll be back. We promise you we will get back to regularly scheduled streams when we can. Just things are kind of crazy right now, so we are going to do them when we can, when we have free time, because that's just how life works right now. But no, everything we're we're still doing stuff behind the scenes. We're going to continue to bring you great content and shows. It just may not be as frequent as it used to be. But as I always say, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.
Bye.